I watched Downton Abbey a long time ago, and I rewatched some of it so that I could tell you what I think of the way they handled the 1918 influenza pandemic. My name is Tira, and I'm an immunologist that likes to ruin the way TV shows and movies handle infectious diseases. The 1918 influenza was an avian influenza that jumped directly from birds into humans. We call this flu an H1N1, traditionally now known as swine flu, but it turns out that humans gave this influenza to pigs during this pandemic, not the other way around. This pandemic started out with a mild spring wave that then returned in September to November in a super deadly second fall wave that then ended up killing hundreds of thousands of people in the space of a couple months. Currently, influenza takes about 3 days to appear, maybe a week of symptoms, and then most people will recover with less than 1% of people dying. The 1918 influenza, however, killed 2% of the planet, and some of those people died within 48 hours. This was because, in addition to having a very fast replication enzyme, the virus had a new way of releasing new virus from the cells, and this combined to produce about 50 times more virus than typical H1N1s do today. So Downton Abbey really whiffed it on this one. The influenza wasn't mentioned at all during the second fall wave, not even in the episode in November when the First World War ended and they held a moment of silence. It didn't finally hit them until early 1919. When people do start getting sick, though, it's all very sweaty and tragic. One person does die, and it's not the older person that you might think, but the younger person who is supposedly more healthy. And this actually does fit with the real trends of mortality that were observed. More people in the age group from 25 to 34 passed away than children or the elderly, which is opposite to what flu does nowadays. Downton Abbey, though, is a soap opera. It's not meant to be super realistic, and I get that showing the massive hemorrhage and bloody pneumonia that most people caught and passed away from wouldn't be cool, and so I can kind of forgive them for not being, highly historically accurate. Overall, I think I'm being generous with a 6 out of 10 rating because this episode does have a knock-on effect for the rest of the series and stories that they can then tell. Let me know if you agree in the comments.